Alright, hello, and welcome back to Final Fantasy V. See, where's... Ow. Okay, where is that spot? Up there? Yep, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. Next story destination. Oh, it's Smoogles. Can't remember if this was the first game that had them or... I want to say yes, this was the first game that had Moogles. Can't remember if Part 3 did or not. I'm talking about the NES Part 3. Not the American Part 3, Super Nintendo, which was actually Part 6. The one on the NES with job classes, and onion kids. The game that we here in America didn't get for another 16 years until a DS remake in 2006. That Final Fantasy III. And again, I find it so ironic that Nintendo renamed Final Fantasy IV as Final Fantasy II and Final Fantasy VI as Final Fantasy III to avoid confusion, as they said at the time. Yeah. They've caused confusion ever since. Because now whenever you say Final Fantasy II or Final Fantasy III, sooner or later you're going to have somebody... What do you mean? Which one? Which Final Fantasy II? Yeah. Which Final Fantasy III? There's two of them. Wink, wink. Yeah. Way to go, Nintendo of America. You really avoided confusion. I salute you. Not. I salute you for being dumbasses, yes, but you don't get saluted for that. You get slapped in the face for that. Of course, to be fair, I'm sure looking back at it, they want to slap themselves in the face, but hypothetically, nostalgically speaking, yeah. One of those things that seemed like a good idea at the time, but backfired. Looking back at it later is anything but, or however you want to put that, but yeah. I'm sure nowadays they cringe at themselves with that one. I mean, I kind of get why they, didn't release the real Part 2 and 3 here, because, NES, by the time the first Final Fantasy game was even released in America, it was already summer 1990. Super Nintendo was just a year away. So when it came for the next game, they wanted it to be for the next new console. Gaming companies still do that to this day. So since Part 4 was already in development for that next new console, they opted to bypass the other two NES games and go right to it. So yeah, I get that part. But why couldn't they have just left the names alone and then explained why Part 2 and 3 aren't available? just left Part 4 as Part 4. Wink, wink, wink. That's the thing that I've never understood to this day. What made them, obviously, again, to avoid confusion, but they had to know that sooner or later people would find out about the 2 Japanese games that we weren't getting here. They couldn't have possibly thought they'd keep those games' existence under wraps for all time, for all eternity, never to be discovered in America ever. I mean, oh well. And the other thing, like I believe I've said in some of my other videos, it makes sense why they skipped over Part 2 and 3 at the time initially. But, keeping in mind, 1990, 1991 when Part 4 came out, or Part 2 here, they were still making NES games for the next 3 years until close to the end of 94 or early into 1995. At some point during those 3 years, they could have, well, here's the games that we skipped over at the time and brought 2 and 3 out in America as well. I mean, the real 2 and 3. It's not like production of NES games stopped the very second Super Nintendo was released. No, again, they were still making NES games well into close to the beginning of 1995. I think the last one was Star Tropics 2, Zoda's Revenge, I think. Or at least the last official, not counting maybe some of those unlicensed ROM hack, excuse my language there, but yeah, like Bible Adventures or some shit like that. One of those unlicensed games might have been out after that. But anyways, hello, by the way. Sorry, just something I've been thinking a lot of recently since I've been replaying Final Fantasy VI. Pixel Remaster, of course, on my Switch. Of course, I'm the one that still wonders why they never brought this game out in America for another 7 years. I mean, this Super Famicom, Super NES version that I'm playing was released in Japan in December of '92. We here in America didn't get this game until the PS1 remake 7 years later in 1999. This Final Fantasy Anthology with Final Fantasy VI as Part 6 and not 3. And as I've said many times before, like Dragon Quest V, another game, of course, Dragon Quest V, the original version never did get a re-release, only the remakes, but same with this. In both cases, it pisses me off. 1992, actually, Dragon Quest V was 1995, but yeah. I would have loved to have played these games at the time. Actually, Dragon Quest V, I think, was 1992 as well. Dragon Quest VI was the one that was out in 95, I think. I can't remember. I'd have to look that one up. Oh, yeah, that's right. Dragon Quest V was 1992, because I remember when I was doing my playthrough for that game earlier this year, well, last year now probably, but I remember commenting about how that game came out in Japan at around the same time we got Part 4 here in the West, late 1992. So we were like a game behind. I remember commenting about that several times actually through my playthrough of Dragon Quest V. Part 6 was the one that came out in Japan in 1995. Damn, how many hit points do those things have? Anyways. I mean, what, did they think this game was too complex for us? I mean, obviously, Final Fantasy developers didn't think too highly of American gamer intelligence. Obviously, they gave us Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, a dumbed down RPG entry level for beginners. So obviously, they probably felt we American gamers were the equivalent to Beavis and Butthead or something, you know. Video game. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, what were they supposed to think? You know, when their games would be hugely successful in Japan and some of the other European and Asian countries, but not so much here. I mean, some of the games sold moderately well, but nowhere near as well as a Zelda or a Mario game. So yeah, they look at those sales figures and see how Mario games sell so much more. I mean, what are they supposed to think? I mean, it's easy as an American myself to be kind of, you know, angered and maybe even offended at that. But looking at things their way, I mean, what are they supposed to think? Yeah. Dumb Americans, they're stupid Mario games. I mean, that's probably not what they were thinking, but yeah. Something along those lines, though. I mean, obviously, Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, one of the easiest games in RPG history. For the most part, I mean, it did have a few difficult moments. Like I said the other day, with with the milking of status ailments. And one of those puzzles involving block pushing, I remember took me a while to figure out on my first playthrough. Anyways, things I'll talk about whenever I do finally get around to doing a playthrough of that game, which I'm thinking will be the next Final Fantasy game after this one. Looks like the Jurassic Park logo. At least that's what it reminds me of, anyway. Whoa. He just one shot. I don't think so, jackass. Well, that doesn't work very well. Good. Turd? Sucker punch my party, will ya? Dude, what are you running from? We just saved your life, buddy. Okay. Yeah. Of course, this is supposed to be like a memory test. Walk the exact same path it does. Why, I don't remember. No random battles or something. If you walk the same path it does, I don't remember. But I say middle fingers to that. I'll go where I want to go. If I have more random battles as a result of it, so be it. I refuse to go some awkward. You know. Whoa. Okay, maybe I should have listened to the game's advice. Hello. Ow. That hurted. I forgot about these guys. Well, holy crap. What the? No way. You cheat, game. No way these things have that many hit points. You're such a dirty cheater, game. Cheat much? What am I doing? He's dead. He can't use magic or anything. No. Am I smart or am I? Yeah, no, never mind. Don't even. Yeah. Am I a dumbass? Is more like it. And yes, the correct answer is most definitely. Do I have any cabins? No. Or houses or whatever you want to. Actually, cabins in pretty much all of the games since part 1. NES original at that. Alright, how much HP do tents recover in this game? I mean, it varies from game to game. Some games like part 1, it's only a small amount of HP or... Well, cabin houses are the... Yeah, see, it's only half or not even half. Anyways, yeah, it kind of gets annoying how they can never freaking pick how that's going to work for one game and then stick with it for all others. How it always alters from one game to the next. Oh, no way. Okay, hold on. Not in the mood for the cheating game. Screw you, game. Quit cheating. Oh, no way. Such a dirty cheater game. Cheat much, game? Cheat much? No way these things have that many hit points. Fuck you, game. Fuck you. Alright. Stupid cheating game. There. Middle fingers to you, cheater. What the hell is your problem? Okay, I guess they are solid. Okay. Okay, never mind. Over this way. Yeah, there it is. Okay, we get the idea. Quit milking it. How can you tell? They all look the same. Oh, okay. 10,000 bucks. Okay. Cut. Now we get one of those. Okay. That would have been useful earlier. A little late, dude. Okay, now. What? Okay, well, we're at. What, do we gotta leave town and come back or something? Okay, there we go. Now we just wait around for the game to decide it's time to go on with the story. Okay, where's... Oh. Guess that's where she lives. She lives in the castle, huh? Okay. So I guess Galuf is a knight. Okay. Kupo. I guess that's their word for everything, like Smurfs and Smurf. Oh, okay. Okay, game, you can stop milking it any time now. Yeah, go ahead. Take the dragon back upstairs, or wherever it was. Just go. There. Bye. I mean, thanks for rescuing us and all, but yeah, I want to get on with the game here. Endless story crap. King. He's a king? Um, okay. Really? His army sucks. I guess. Okay, can we go now, game? Thank you. Let's see, was it in this castle or one later? Let's see, there's her room. The room we just saw in that cutscene earlier. Whatever. Exit. Okay. Cool. Granted, well, there are still going to be some places I could use that. But yeah, just like the first Final Fantasy game, they milk that. How far into the game you got to go before you have access to it, just like the first game. Pitiful. I mean, after the first game, you have part 2 where you can get the exit spell relatively early. So you think maybe they learned their lesson. But no, now here we are 3 games later, and we're back to the same old overly milking it. Okay, this part we can't do anything with for now. Yeah. Can't do anything down here for quite some time yet. In fact, if I'm remembering correctly, I don't even want to be down here for too long. As we have, for this point in the game, some rather tough enemies. I mean, those enemies in the desert were bad enough. But if I'm remembering correctly, some of the enemies that you could possibly meet down here would make them look like goblin imps by comparison. If I'm remembering correctly, I could be wrong about that. Maybe I'm thinking about some other place in the game, but yeah. Either way, regardless of what enemies may or may not be down here, You can't do anything down here yet anyways, so yeah. Something to remember for later. In item shop. See, actually, before I go buying any items, was there a weapon and armor shop around here? Maybe even a magic shop? Yeah, here we go. Slow 2, return, comet, no. Drain, no, I got all those. Guess not. I was thinking this is the town where we got the third tier of ice, fire, and lightning spells. Faraja, whatever. Recent games are just simply Fire 2 or Fire 3, Ice 3, and Lightning 3 in the original games. But I guess we don't get them yet. Alright. Orielka. Is that a weapon or is that oh, actually, it has to be a weapon or it wouldn't be sold at a weapon shop. Stupid question, dumbass me. I'm just thinking because that's the name of a mineral ore deposit in some other games like Dragon Quest III needed to forge the Sword of Kings towards the end of the game. Yeah. I think I'll stick with what I have for now. Don't need shields since we're using the two-handed attack ability. Gauntlets, don't they buy only one just to test that theory, but oh, they're for defense in this game. Okay. In some games they increase attack power. Here they're for defense and even only 3 at that, so never mind. 3 measly defense points ain't gonna matter much. Okay, is this just... One other thing I want to check here. Well, not that. That's not what I had in mind, but as long as I'm here, I'll get that too. But that's not what I had in mind. Okay, I guess that's all there is down here, or out here, whatever. Okay, maybe it's not even in this castle. Guess it's in the next town we stop at. Something I alluded to several videos ago now, back when we were in the Library of the Ancients. Yeah. Alright, never mind. I guess that's in the next town we stop at. Or actually, the next town after that. The next place we stop at, I don't think has much in the way of shops and inns and stuff like that there. Rather small little village. Yeah, so let me out. Come on, is this like Dragon Quest 3? After you do the Golden Crown side quest, defeating Kandar to reclaim the crown, and then you give it back to the King of Romali, and he won't. And now you're the king, and the guards won't let you out. Hey, this is an order from your king. Get out of my way, or I will have you thrown in the dungeons for your defiance. Yeah. Well, dude, I ought to have you arrested. That's right. I forgot. Silly me, I forgot. Video game plot wall. Rolled eyes and boredom. Video game plot wall. Got milk game? Got milk? Dragon grass. Well, that's what it was called in the Sony PS1 version of the game. Just simply dragon grass. Since this is a dragon after all. Nowadays, now they try to be fancy and Hiru or Windrake or Bite Me or it's a frickin' dragon. Call it what you will. I mean, that's one thing I liked about the PS1 anthology version. No trying to be fancy with the names. But I don't like that enough about the PS1 version enough to play that version of the game in and of itself. No. There were too many other things I didn't. There were too many other things I didn't like about that version of the game. Like Sarissa's name being Salsa. Yeah, always made me hungry for tacos. Varys annoying pirate dialect. She's a pirate leader or was when we first met her. Yeah. And because of that, the stereotypical "Arr, matey" pirate dialogue gets to be a little annoying, or the abundance of it. So. The slow load times with every random battle. Transition from world map to battle screen. Yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't personally recommend the PS1 version. I mean, I have a little nostalgia for it since it was the first version of the game I ever played, being the first version of the game ever released here in America. But even so, I still say the best version of the game is either the Game Boy Advance remake or the more recent Pixel remaster. I mean, so far this original isn't bad. Anyways, now that we've eliminated plot wall, Okay, how did they know we were out? Okay, wait a minute. We just saw 3 of them. Where'd the other 2 go? What? Inconsistency alert. Anyways, that's where I end this video. That's already now 40 minutes. I swear, time just... I know, I talk about this at the end of every video, but it never ceases to amaze me how fast this half hour goes by. Start the video and think, okay, I got a whole half hour. Seems like 10 minutes later, the half hour is already up. Anyways, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.